Can you hear me? I cannot hear you.
You keep muting me.
All right, sorry. There we go. Okay, let's go. Hi, Mark. Welcome back to Linear Rock.
Thank you for having me. How you doing?
Fine, thanks so much. And we're about to welcome you back in Milan since on Monday you have a show here and you're presenting the new record. The End Will Show Us How, which is new record and new tour. And from the title, that sounds like a precise snapshot, of the times that we're living in. Is this more for you a message of hope or or resignation, let's say, or maybe both?
Yeah, there's both throughout the album. There's definitely some negative moments thematically, but there's the whole theme behind the end will show us how means that the end is the great clarifier. Whatever decisions you've made in life, you'll see if they were right or wrong in the end. The end will show us if we've lived the right, correct path.
Yeah, that's a good point. But not everybody is structured, to make this kind of reflection. So let's hope, that the people that is in charge of great decisions have this approach.
Yes.
Um, is your solo path at times the melting pot of ideas that ended up not working, maybe for Creed or Alter Bridge? Or after 10 years, Tremonti's records are written as Tremonti's records from the very first note.
The very first album was songs that would never work in Alter Bridge at the time because of the more speed metal approach that I had to writing those songs. So, but every record since has been written for the band.
And about the band, Mark, you are a band animal, let's say. Indeed, even as a solo artist, because Tremonti is definitely a band itself. What motivates and moves you the most of the group situation is, the collaboration, the family feeling, or maybe also the competitions with other musicians?
No, I just want to chase the best song I could write. That's I just love writing music. I love performing music, but writing music is my one of my favorite things to do in life. So being able to have all these outlets to write music in is just a blessing for me to have all these projects.
But since this, Tremonti is your surname, is your name, is it you, the one that first approach writing and then you present it to the other band members, to your partners, or you work exactly as a band? Also,
No,
in
I
Tremonti, I mean.
now I do all the writing and then I play it for the guys, and then I put together, arrangements and lyrics and melodies and all that stuff, and then I'll get with the guys, and then we'll finalize the arrangements together.
Okay. And approaching a solo career after a huge success like you had can be a kind of comfort zone in a sense, to put things back into perspective and maybe looking, also for that deja vu feeling of the early days when nothing was taken for granted. I mean, is it the next step or a way to start it all over again in a sense and find new inspiration?
Well, it's fun. It's fun to be able to do all of the things. With Creed, I get to play the big, large arenas and amphitheaters. Um, with Alter Bridge, I get to tour the world playing large venues. But with Tremonti, I go back to the small venues, the small clubs, and those shows are just as exciting as the large shows. It's a different mood. Sometimes they're better. Sometimes they're more fun. So it's good to be able to mix it up, and that's why I think a band like the Rolling Stones or Guns N' Roses, these big bands will sometimes do a little small exclusive show somewhere because there's nothing like that, those small shows.
And the stage fright is bigger in huge arenas or in the smallest clubs?
No, I mean, I don't really get stage fright too much. I go on there. I think if you've practiced and you're ready to go, there shouldn't have anything to fear.
And has your approach to touring changed much over the years? And since you've been a singer yourself, did you become more empathetic with the frontman's world
Oh,
about, of course, Alter Bridge and Creed, I'm talking about?
oh yes, yeah. I mean, just staying healthy, and having to get a good night's sleep and eat right, and make sure you're washing your hands a million times a day. That being paranoid about getting sick is the worst thing about talk about stage fright. If you're sick going on stage and you can't sing, that's a terrible feeling. Um, and then also being the front man and speaking to the audience, that's a talent in itself. Having that on stage charisma, that these other guys have is a tough thing to develop. And I don't know if I do the Tremonti stuff enough to be able to quite develop that to its fullest at this point.
Okay. And is it something you can practice or is something that comes naturally?
Being a front man is something you have to do in front of people. You can't practice it. It's do or die.
And have you ever discussed with Myles Kennedy your mutual parallel, solo careers? Are you motivated by the same spirit in some way?
Yeah, me and Myles are very similar. We have the same work ethic. We both work very, very hard. Um, we almost have this competitive writing relationship with Alter Bridge, where I'll present. Just recently, I presented 9 songs for the next Alter Bridge record, and then Myles presented 9 songs for the next Alter Bridge record. So we try to keep on pace with one another.
Did it ever happen that you asked, Myles, you should have keep, this particular song for Alter Bridge, and on the other way around, he said the same things to you?
Yeah, no, it's yeah, we do that, but we do it in jest. We just joke with one another, but we understand. We try to keep the solo projects with their own personality, and Alter Bridge has its own sound. So yeah, but I'll hear things on Myles's stuff where I'm like, wow, that could have been a great Alter Bridge idea as well.
With the Sinatra charity record, did you achieve exactly what you expected? Are you completely fulfilled by it?
Oh my gosh, we exceeded my expectations. It's been one of the most satisfying, enjoyable experience I've ever had in my life. It's you know, not only just the performances and being able to perform with Frank Sinatra's band members, but um, raising the money that we did and the things that we did with the funds raised. We opened up the very first lifespan Down syndrome clinic in the southeastern United States, and we've had over 300 patients in its first year of being open. So it's been a huge, huge success as a clinic, and it'll be my proudest achievement.
And after you did that, has that affected some way your writing or your approaching to singing, in Tremonti, and also maybe in, writing for Alter Bridge, or you keep, these two worlds apart?
No, doing the Sinatra stuff's helped me embrace my lower registers as a singer. I used to run away from that. I used to try to hide my lower registers, but the Sinatra stuff taught me to embrace it.
Are you proud like a godfather of Wolfgang Van Halen career? And do you like his records?
Oh, I'm very proud of him. I think he's done such a tremendous job with what he's done, and you know when he first when he first started playing with the Tremonti band, he was kind of quiet on stage. He kind of played about. He wasn't like way up front and over animated. He always just played the bass and sang perfectly well. And then now that he's doing Mammoth, he's that front man and he's killing it. He's doing awesome. We've gotten to tour with them with Creed and Alter Bridge, and I love, I love Wolfgang. He's, you know, it's too bad we're all so busy, so we can't spend more time together. But we'll be back on tour with them, I think, this summer.
Good. Since you are already in Europe, did you watch President Trump's inauguration ceremony on TV?
No, I didn't have. We didn't have. I think we were. It was a show day. We didn't have a TV, so I just. My wife just told me about it. Told me when it was on, and I asked her about it. I'm like, "What? How was it?" She said, "Oh, it was an inauguration. I don't know what you want me to tell you."
Okay, I don't know if you voted him or not, but what do you think? Is it going to be good for America, or do you have good expectations? I mean, now he is the president, so
Oh, no comment. I don't talk politics.
okay. Okay, okay. And another news, bad one, is about John Sykes,
Yes.
who sadly passed away January 20th. He was such an influential player, especially in the 80s, like you are now. Did you get to meet him along the way? Do you have any story? Was he ever an inspiration for you?
John, I never got to meet John, but Myles introduced me to John Sykes guitar playing. Myles is an enormous fan of John Sykes. That's one of his favorite guitar players ever. And it's coincidental that about 2 months ago, a friend of mine had purchased a John Sykes used dual rectifier, a rectifier, and I was going to possibly buy the amplifier, but he had sold it. So I almost had John Sykes's amplifier. But no, he was an incredibly gifted guitar player, influenced a whole lot of people. And it was a very sad day because I had no idea that he was had cancer to begin with.
Yeah. Wow, that amplifier, a holy grail, for sure. But was it that from Thin Lizzy days, Tigers Up and Tang, White Snake? You don't know?
I'm told. I just know it was a dual rectifier, and it was in perfect condition. It was his amplifier, and I heard it sounded amazing, but I just wasn't around to be able to pull the trigger on it.
You should chase it and have it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the show is approaching, is on Monday
Mhm.
in Milan at Magazzini Generali, and you always had a special connection with Italy, as Tremonti and with Alter Bridge, of course. I hope you will come with Creed back, since it's been a long, long time. But how would you invite, the latecomers to buy their tickets for the 27th January show in Milan right now?
Well, I'd say come out. You're going to see. We do a very long set. We do almost 20 songs every night, and we try to change up the set list so you never know what you're going to get. Not since we started this tour, we've never played the same set. It's been different every night. There's always been something new. We're going to keep trying to do that. So expect the unexpected.
And about the set list, is it you in charge to compile it for Tremonti? Is it different than, with Creed and Alter Bridge?
Yeah, with Tremonti, I can call the shots and say, hey guys, let's learn the song. We're going to do it tomorrow.
Okay. And do you listen to fans' suggestions? Sometimes maybe through social media, or, about
Yeah, yeah,
songs that you want to hear?
yeah. Like one song we've been playing on this tour is "Leave It Alone," which was a very highly requested song online. So we started playing that. We won't play that every night, but we've played it a lot. We've played it every night so far, but I don't know if we'll play it for the whole rest of the tour. But a lot of people have requested. Everybody's all over the place. It's not. That was one of the songs where many people requested it, but there's a lot of other songs where it's just random. People just want to hear all these random songs.
Any
So
covers? Any cover songs or Sinatra stuff in the set, maybe as a
no,
surprise? No.
not yet. I'd love to do some Sinatra.
Okay, so last question. So you just told me that Alter Bridge new record is ready, but what's immediately next after this tour for Tremonti and for everything you've been up to?
Yeah, after this tour, I go home and I get into the studio with Alter Bridge to record the next album, and then we go back out with Creed for the summertime, and we're trying to schedule a U.S. tour. We come back here to Europe next summer for some of the festivals, and then I head back to the States with Creed, and then we're trying to put together a United States Tremonti tour as soon as we can.
So there's hope to see you with Creed in Europe and Italy as well.
Oh, I hope so. You know, right now it's not scheduled because there's just so much going on. There's no time for it at the time. You know, well, I'll be back. I'll be back in Europe at least one more time this year myself. But and then of course Alter Bridge will be back as soon as the record's out.
Okay, Mark. So thanks so much for your patience and your time, and see you on Monday.
Great. Thank you so much. See you Monday.
Ciao.
Bye
Grazie.
bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Grazie. Grazie.